Hank, I saw KJ Lacey is at a Under Armour camp. Every time I see him, I feel like he's getting smaller and smaller. I don't know what it is. It's just my psyche. I don't know. And I get it. The comp is Bryce Young. I know Sark has a good relationship with Bryce Young. That's a big reason why KJ Lacey's so appealing. But I know he's also going on visits and still being recruited and wine and dined. What separates him from other guys? Like, what makes him such an attractive recruit for somebody like Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah, I think, and you mentioned Bryce Young. I think one of the big things with him is just kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like on the tip of my tongue. I don't know why it's slipping away from me, but his ability to kind of create when things don't go according to like the plan. He's a guy that can kind of he's not necessarily like a threat on the ground. He can run when he needs to, but if the play breaks down, he can still find a way to make a big play. And I think his senior year at Saraland is going to be kind of a big barometer for him, because obviously he's always had big numbers. He's a very talented kid, but he's not going to have Ryan Williams to throw to, because obviously he reclassified. He's now at Alabama, or he's going to be at Alabama this summer. So I think Ryan Williams, a lot of those plays, maybe they were short passes and Ryan Williams took it 60 or 70 yards. I think this will be a good opportunity for KJ Lacey to show that, he can thrive in that offense still and get guys open or throw guys open and kind of show his ability to, his ball placement, all that kind of stuff. But I think his biggest thing is, he's pretty good about, being able to create. He's got pretty good arm strength. He like I said, he has got good touch. He throws the ball really well. Jordan Scruggs was out there in Atlanta this weekend, and he had one clip of him throwing this guy to the corner of the end zone. It was a beautiful ball, and the kid dropped it. But so, I mean, he's got all the tools, but I think this will be, maybe a good opportunity for him with Ryan Williams leaving to kind of really showcase that, hey, I'm really good too. It wasn't just Ryan Williams, making all these big plays.
What's his height?
Yeah.
Where they got him at?
They haven't sent out the verified. I haven't seen the verified numbers yet. I think he's
they ain't gonna tell us.
He's probably 6 foot.
Man,
eye to eye with him. He's a little bit taller than me, I think. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the hair. He has tall hair. But
Chip, that brother looks 5'7", 5'8".
No, he's not that short. No. He's closer to 6 foot. But we need to see, because, obviously they do the verified measurements. So we'll have to check in on that. But no, talented kid. Obviously I think anytime, Sark and AJ Milwee and this staff, kind of dial in on a quarterback. I think, these guys recruit quarterbacks better than anybody. And so, if they see something special in him, I think that's a testament, to how good he actually is.
What I was a little surprised when he committed as early as he did for being, a guy still, at the time, a couple of years out from signing day. What do you think it's going to come down to for him? Is he, take us inside the mind of KJ Lacey?
Yeah. There was a time about like 4 or 5 weeks ago where it was like, we were hearing some buzz, because Auburn's obviously there. I don't think Alabama's really a threat. Maybe. I think they're, it doesn't seem like since Kalen DeBoer's come on that Alabama's really been a big school he's looking at. That could change. It's Alabama. We'll see. And obviously Ryan Williams is there. I think Auburn's the big threat. And like I said, a few weeks back, it kind of seemed like there was some buzz growing in Auburn's favor. We reached out to him and he was like, no, I'm locked in with Texas. He does say he's still going to take visits. Auburn's going to be a school we'll probably see a handful of more times. I'm sure he'll take an official visit to Auburn. But Texas seems to be, not very concerned about, where he stands. And again, I've been talking to Jordan about this. I think it'll be interesting to see, does Texas take 2 quarterbacks this cycle? And, and if KJ Lacey is still taking visits, Texas is still going to probably want to stay in contact with some guys to be safe, in the event he does flip. Obviously they have a better gauge on where things stand than maybe outsiders looking in do. But everything we've been told, he's solid. I think he's really comfortable. I think he really wants to play for Sark. I think that was obviously a huge selling point. I think he sees what Texas is building. I think he sees, the trajectory they're going at, and that's really appealing to him. And, Auburn, I think obviously, they had the NIL thing going. They still do have the NIL thing going, but we haven't really seen them. I mean, we saw them lose to New Mexico State. It was pretty nasty. Not to, I mean, like I think Hugh Freeze would really need to show something this fall, and for him to actually have a chance of flipping KJ Lacey. We'll see. Again, he's going to visit, but I think he's very comfortable with Texas, and unless Texas is like goes out and takes a transfer quarterback for post Arch Manning era, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's looking at changing it up anytime soon.
Yeah. Sark wants those young guys in the system, learning the system, so that by the time they take it over, they are ready to go. Yeah. If you have questions for Hank, get them in the chat here. Rex St. Charles says, Hank, what makes a coach into a great recruiter? It has to be more than just a smooth talker.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of it is about balance, because a lot of these coaches, they'll need to meet their quota for reaching out to kids, and making sure they're staying in contact each week or however many times they can. I think it's a good balance of knowing the balance between hey, do I need to keep talking to this kid? What do I need to say to this kid? Are we going to talk about football? Just finding that balance of when to contact them, when to not, what kind of things to talk about. Oftentimes the kids mention, they don't even talk about football with me. And so, those relationship builder coaches, the coaches that actually dive in and give a crap about, your family and, other things you have going on in your life. A lot of these coaches will reach out to parents or not like grandparents and aunts and uncles. They'll go the whole 9 yards and just, making sure that, they're covering all their bases and making, knowing that, making sure these kids know they're a priority. It was actually funny. We were asking kids at the All-American Bowl, what was the weirdest recruiting pitch or the weirdest thing a coach said to them, throughout the whole cycle. I forgot which recruit we were talking to, but he was saying one coach told him that he was talking to this kid more than he was talking to his wife. And the kid was like, yeah, that was kind of weird for him to say, but or he's like, I talk to you more than I talk to my own kids, or that kind of thing. But so I think, just finding that balance. Obviously, you want to make sure you're showing the kid you care about him, and not just, hey, I'm reaching out to you because, we want you to come here. Talking to the kids like they're your friends and not necessarily, they're a recruit. Because obviously, they wouldn't be talking to them otherwise. But, if you can make it a little bit more, what's the word, personable, I guess, that's the key.